Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Sorry I haven't been dropping as many videos, been busy. Family out of school, the kids, you know how it is. But I'm here. It's going to be a long one, so hang in there. That being said, let's do this. Y'all don't need to see my big old head because it's about these killers I'm about to talk about. There we go. Y'all are familiar with the faces on here. Let's talk about it. Now, this is going to be one of the bigger roll-ups that I've done in a while because I've been busy, and almost every division has some kind of changing to the landscape of boxing. Now you just talk about the weight divisions that are boiling over. Super welterweight, Errol Spence Jr., Tszyu. That's building, it's getting crazy. Jaron Ennis is a new superstar in that division. He's being compared to Terence Crawford, man. Then you take a look at the heavyweight division. Usyk stepping away. From the championship picture, and I mean, you just don't know who's going to end up being the big dog, but Cabiel looks like he's going to be the one to carry the torch forward. Then you got Devin, Haney, and Keyshawn. They're under serious pressure to make a fight. Deadline's approaching. Claressa Shields and Tszyu may want to get involved. WBO is telling them, nah, we don't want y'all getting involved in a purse bid. So it could, let me tell you, these two could really determine what's going to happen in the future of the heavyweight division because, and I don't just mean for that fight, I'm talking about as far as the politics of boxing and the nonsense with the sanctioning bodies and Claressa Shields. And then with women's boxing, never a dull day because Big Gold is always in a discussion. But it's not just about, actually it has not been about accomplishments inside the ring. It's just her public image and whether she's going to fight Hannah Gabriels or Chris Cyborg. And just how she wants to be remembered when her career is over. So it's a lot for us to kind of, unravel and discuss. So let's jump into it. Errol Spence and Tszyu. This is a good fight. But, man, Tszyu, I mean, there's been some drama. He's out here talking about he's targeting Errol's eye. Errol's had issue with that retina and one of his eyes. And Tszyu saying, I'm going to target it. He doesn't care about Errol Spence being in a car accident, about any issue with his eye, whatever issue he was facing before the Terence Crawford fight. Tszyu loves to hear that because that tells him, okay, I got something to work with here, what he's going to consider as damaged goods. But I'm just telling you, man, when it comes to these two, you talk about having a storyline. Talk about the styles of the fighters. Talk about, potential belts being on the line if they can get past each other. You know what I'm saying? I really think from the opening bell, Errol Spence and Tszyu, they're going to go at it. And who's going to win has sparked plenty of discussion amongst the boxing fans. I just think when you look at this, it's a psychological chess match. Now, whoever wins, they go on to elite level fights. But I wonder if Tszyu, with everything he's been through, with tough fights and coming out on the losing end, and Errol Spence, what he's went through, inactivity, the Terence Crawford fight, and other things that he's went through, I wonder if that's going to show up in the ring. But one thing for sure is boxing has always involved mental warfare. And it's not just about what you say to someone outside the ring. It's what's going on with the individual when they get inside the ring. But as far as the trash talk, Errol Spence is talking trash. He didn't shake Tszyu's hand. Tszyu is talking trash. So what you're seeing is that these guys are doing stuff that Muhammad Ali has mastered, Floyd Mayweather has mastered, Bernard Hopkins is another one. And the ultimate goal is making an opponent uncomfortable before fight night. And that's just part of the game. How far do you want to go with the bullshit is what some people ask. So some fans therefore believe this is simply another attempt to create uncertainty, with the two of them going at each other and Errol Spence not showing up for a conference and Tszyu missing out on a sparring day. So Tszyu's pissed. But not everybody sees it as just two individuals trying to create uncertainty and whether Errol Spence is playing mind games. Some are like, yo, if this is not strategy, if this is just simply a veteran fighter dealing with the realities of preparing for another championship-level contest after years of physical punishment. And I think those are two completely different interpretations. Now, I'm going to tell you this, nothing's been proven. It won't be proven until these two get in the ring. But I think they both have major talking points leading into the fight. And that's what makes the whole thing fascinating. Now, Tszyu, he's not backing down. He's made it clear, man. He's not coming in here to survive. He wants to make a statement. He's always carried enormous expectations for himself. He got the Zhu last name. But it's not just about his accomplishments. It's about that last name. His father and what his father was to boxing, an all-time great. Comparisons never stop. He had a couple of losses. Now people are saying he can never be a tenth of what his father was. So he knows his performances get measured, mistakes get magnified, and that's why he's saying he wants victory. He knows he needs victory to continue getting compared to his dad as a winner, not him being compared as a loser to his father who's a winner. So there's a lot of pressure that he faces. Only a handful of fighters experience. Perfect examples, a guy like Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. You know what I'm saying? Both of their fathers were exceptional boxers, and they get compared all the time. But when Tim says this is about the family name and this is about him representing Australia, I'm telling you, the Australian fans are going to show up and show out. Home pride, home field advantage, and there could be some home cooking if Errol Spence is in a competitive fight where we feel he edges it out, but it goes to the judges' scorecard. So expect Tim Tszyu to use all of this as a powerful source of motivation. And when you're motivated, you're dangerous. Now, Errol Spence, can he still perform at that level that made him one of sports pound-for-pound stars? Supporters are going to say, yes, he's back, but those who are more realistic say, we're not sure. Not that they're not rooting for him, they're just like he's been through a lot and he's been inactive. You know what I'm saying? And that's why this fight has become one of the most compelling matchups in the sport of boxing. But Errol Spence, there's no need to question his accomplishments. His resume speaks for itself. Championship pedigree speaks for itself. He's tough. But boxing is unforgiving, and I think I'll leave it as that. Now, with Tim Tszyu again, he just feels this is his moment. He has identity confidence, that last name again. He don't see himself as a winner. Tim Tszyu sees himself as a challenger. And that seems to be the mentality he's adopted since picking up the new coach, Jeff Finnich. I am a challenger. I don't see myself as a winner. I don't think this whole thing about what's my fucking name that he did after he fought Tony Harrison, them days are gone. He's like, you know what, man? I need to have the confidence to go in here and win, but still had a hunger of a challenger. And that's what he is, and that's what he's going to show when he gets in the ring, is what he's saying. That confidence is something else, and it becomes contagious. It spreads through the training camp, sparring partners, coaches, and then the fans start believing it, and the Australians are rallying behind Tim Tszyu. Pressure's increasing, but so does the energy. So let's see if he can get the job done. But Tim Tszyu said he's targeting Spence's retina. And that shit kind of caught me off guard because I'm like, damn, that's cold. But others are saying that's completely professional. That's what he's supposed to do. Boxing, if he's supposed to surrender the other man unconscious, basically beat him within an inch of his life. And if the referee doesn't stop the fight, kill him. It's not for you to sit there and feel sorry for somebody. Shit, if an opponent has an injured shoulder, the fighters attack the shoulder. Someone has weak legs, attack the leg. Someone has poor stamina, push the pace. Every weakness eventually becomes part of the strategy. So for anyone saying Tim Tszyu is wrong, shit ain't personal, it's just tactical. And again, championship boxing isn't designed around sympathy. And Errol Spence knows that, but he's been away way too long. And this has become one of the biggest debates. Can he pull the trigger, absorb punishment, train with the same intensity? I don't think he needs to do that. He's not with Derek James anymore. Ronnie Shields has a more strategic, curated approach, and he's going to make sure that Errol Spence is in peak condition and ready to get in there and go 12 hard rounds. Ronnie Shields has developed champions from the ground up, from ground zero. So we're going to see how all this goes. But I'm just wondering, man, how hard was the training camp? Is he going to be able to recover during fight week, get in the ring? I'm not trying to disrespect anything, but Errol Spence, even he understands people have a lot of questions. I just wonder what is going to happen when he gets in the ring. The reality is that every aging fighter faces questions like this, and Spence hasn't gotten any younger since he's been gone from the sport. You know what I'm saying? He's not the same guy he was before he retired. He may feel good, but he ain't the same. You don't get better as you get older necessarily when you get beyond 35. Father Time is undefeated. So what version of Errol Spence is going to show up at the opening bell? I don't know, but that's why we're tuning in. Now, Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas. These guys are out here, man, talking about making noise. Everyone wondered, Jaron Ennis, can he perform under enormous expectations? Yes. Can he make adjustments, handle elite pressure? Can he finish strong? Absolutely. But that fight with Xander Zayas, a lot of doubts disappeared about Jaron Ennis. But I think the biggest revelation, it wasn't just about Ennis doing the business and being amongst boxing elite, it's about Xander Zayas. He earned more respect in defeat. Some people are clowning, talking about, look, man, in defeat, Edgar Berlanga, Puerto Rican fighter, got a bunch of respect in the parades. Xander Zayas, he lost, he getting the respect, and where's the parade? I don't think that's a fair comparison. You know what I'm saying? Zayas is a good dude. Berlanga's had a big mouth, but he seemed to be all right. But they're not the same at all. But one thing I can say is fans appreciate courage. You know, winning matters, but effort matters too. And you saw Zayas didn't just try to survive. He fought. And he came back and hurt Boots, and he almost had him out of there. He exchanged. He didn't try to protect himself. He took risk. He did what he could, and he earned the respect of everyone. I just think he was too willing to trade punches instead of using that movement. But, Ennis thrives during exchanges. That's what he wants, is that Philly fighter, man. But a guy like Zayas, maybe he would have benefited from varying his attack more frequently. Angles, resetting, forcing Boots to restart. Should there be a rematch? I don't know. I say yes, but I also say damn. Because it's not like one fighter wasn't clearly dominant. Nah. I just think it makes a great rivalry, and who knows? Zayas win, then you got a trilogy, and then you got another Ali Frazier, Morales Barrera, Pacquiao Marquez. You know what I'm saying? You could have a Wilder Fury. You could have the goddamn what's them boys' name, man? Mickey Ward, Gotti. You know, you could have the Holyfield Bowls. Each fight looked different because each fighter evolved. So supporters of Zayas believe he has enough intelligence to make meaningful tactical adjustments. I do too. So bottom line, boxing wins, especially when elite young champions continue to fight each other instead of avoiding risk because they fought in their prime, is a big difference. Now, are people being too critical? I'll tell you what, man, that's just the unfortunate reality of today's boxing culture. People out here shredding Ennis. He ain't got no chin. He can't fight. He's food. He's a bum. Virgil Ortiz is a clown. Disrespected Ennis, disrespected Zayas. But that's just today's boxing culture and the internet, you know. A spectacular performance just isn't enough. Social media rewards criticism. Every mistake gets replayed. People look for flaws. I mean, it is what it is, you know. But when you get two young champions testing themselves against elite competition, they deserve, I'd say, recognition, not the nitpicking. Because without fighters willing to take those risks, boxing loses, and now we got it. And so my thing is, how can you complain? But anyway, just leave it alone. But if you want to entertain something, keep pushing the Terence Crawford conversation, because Terence Crawford set the standard. Switching stances, adapting mid-fight, solving problems. He's proven to be one of the most complete fighters of the era. So now people are like, you know, how would Sebastian Fundora do, Xander Zayas, Jaron Ennis do against a guy like Terence Crawford? You know what I'm saying? These guys are the next wave, capable of testing that standard. Let me just tell you this. Terence Crawford's done. You know what I mean? Most people feel Crawford has the experience and ring IQ and the ability to exploit the mistakes of Zayas, Ennis, Fundora, Ortiz, anybody at 154. Matter of fact, in any way Crawford steps up to. So y'all can debate. I'm not going to. But it just, to me, maybe they just put a lot of respect on the next generation, or maybe they're hating on Crawford. But I will say this, right? Because everyone has an opinion. Jaron Ennis is different. Many elite fighters possess speed, have power, have athleticism. Ennis has everything. Switching stances. I mean, he's just like Terence Crawford. He just doesn't have as much patience. And I would say that the experience isn't quite there, but they're very similar, man. You know, very similar. Everything that he's doing right now, Crawford has done throughout his championship career. You know what I'm saying? Combination with either hand, hurt you with either hand, speed, conditioning. And that's why they're being compared. But Crawford, that patience. Crawford doesn't rush shit. He gathers information, studies reactions. I mean, he treats the early rounds like research. By the middle rounds, and especially he goes to that phone booth and turns into Southpaw, man, that shit is over. He knows what you're going to do, and he begins taking those options away, setting traps, and your ass is in trouble. Matter of fact, he creates so many traps for these guys, they don't even know what they're walking. You may walk into one and realize you're in a trap and get out of it, step into another one. Inviting your punches, take a half a step back, just half an inch, man, to miss your shot, and then boom, counters clean. Put you down and put you out, finishes the whole fight, and it's over. Over. Even if you get hit and clipped and try to stay on your feet, the killer instinct kicks in and Crawford comes in and he tranquilizes you. So it is what it is. Would Ennis and Crawford make for an interesting fight? Hell yeah. Athleticism, recovery, the size, punch variety. Ennis has all the attributes Crawford hasn't faced that often. He's young. He won't be intimidated. He has confidence. And right now he's riding on his high horse. You know what I'm saying? But I just wonder if they got in the ring, who would be initiating the action, how would it go, who's going to step back, who's going to move around, who's going to show respect for each other's power. But the bottom line is Crawford, because of his accomplishments and experience, you got to favor him, you know what I'm saying? But Ennis will probably make that fight very interesting. But I'm going to tell you, out of all this shit we're talking about, don't forget Sebastian Fundora, a.k.a. Cockroach Man. Sebastian Fundora is a problem. I mean, we all know why. Wingspan and height. Any fight you get in with him becomes dangerous. You try to outbox him, it's difficult. Anything you try to do is difficult. He has everything. He got speed is all right. It ain't all that, but reach, speed, he got power, he got conditioning, he got good punch selection, finding the inside on the outside. Really accurate with that jab, man. Straight punches, unusual angles, and he keeps working. So they say styles make fights. That's a style that I don't think anybody's in a rush to get in there with. Now, Jai Opetaia and David Benavidez. That's the super fight, but it's lost its momentum. Even I'm giving up now. You know what I'm saying? We know the matchup is inevitable. Two aggressive champions, two fan favorites, reputations. They want difficult challenges, but one seems to be kind of avoiding the other, and it ain't Jai Opetaia. And that fans are discouraged because they're like, yo, this is disgusting. Why we got to wait so long to get these guys to fight? Benavidez said something about 2 years. History's shown, man, repeatedly. That's dangerous. You know, the biggest opponent isn't another fighter. It's time. Years pass. Fighters age. Bodies accumulate wear and tear. Momentum changes. You know, fans move on to new stars. You got to strike while the iron's hot. Plus, there's so much money here. They need to go ahead and get the job done. But Benavidez is a big name, and he may have a bigger name than Opetaia, but Opetaia is the man to beat at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? He earned that reputation. Very complete cruiserweight. Footwork, toughness, punch selection, composure under pressure. He's got it. He'll fight anyone. He doesn't care. Now, could he become successful? Could Benavidez become successful against a guy like Opetaia with his speed, his aggressiveness, and he has some good technical abilities? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But I say the respect around that fighting skill set is going to continue to grow for Benavidez and for Jai Opetaia. They both need to keep winning. But as long as they're winning, the demand's going to be there. But it has kind of lost its luster because we're just like, damn, you got Benavidez fighting Sam Noakes, Opetaia's in the breeze. I mean, sanctioned bodies not letting Zuffa and Turkey get in on some of these fights. It just sucks right now. Kind of seems like they're trying to age out Opetaia, but I don't know. I don't want to go and see all that, but it's a pain in the ass for me. Now, Devin, Haney, and Keyshawn Davis. Clock's ticking. The WBO does not want Zuffa or Dana White involved. So I think it sucks because when you get those guys involved, especially when it comes to a purse bid, Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis, you know it's going to be some big money on the table. Why the WBO would block them from purse bidding, I don't know. Because you know they'd rather wait and go to purse bid, especially if Zuffa is going to try to get the fight. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but it sucks because the champion wants the biggest financial opportunity. The challenger wants the same thing, and he wants the championship opportunity. The promoters want favorable business terms. Sanctioning body wants its rules followed. But when all four interests collide, negotiations become extremely complicated to the point to where now you got a promoter out there who can't even bid on the damn fight. And they're the ones who probably bid 10 times more than everyone else. So it's more than just a title fight, you know what I'm saying? I think it's this next generation of American boxing. And Devin Haney been fighting since I think he's been 16 years old, 17 as a pro. He's been fighting for a long time. So Devin is a veteran in the game, although he's still young. He's a veteran in the game. And Keyshawn Davis represents that new blood, you know, that new generation. Both have strong following. Both are confident. They both feel that Devin feels he can continue holding on as one of the more noticeable faces in the sport. Keyshawn believes he's the future. But I don't know. We have to find out and see who becomes the face of American boxing. Is it going to be Devin to continue or Keyshawn to clip him? But I tell you what, the business side of boxing is just a real pain in the ass. Because boxing isn't governed by one central league. Unlike the NBA, NFL, got multiple promoters, broadcasters. It's no central figure of authority. You don't know who's promoting who's going to broadcast it. I mean, you really don't know anything till fights get signed. Then they start sorting out revenue, rematch terms, who controls future options. It's just, and everybody does it differently. But that's why we keep talking about Zuffa. Now, as far as Haney and Keyshawn, that shit has a buzz going. The only buzz that could have been bigger if Haney was fighting Shakir Stevenson or Keyshawn was fighting Shakir, or Haney or Keyshawn fighting Gervonta Davis. But this is a good matchup, and it's beyond business. I mean, I think it's fascinating. Haney, distance, timing, defense, discipline, ring control. Keyshawn, physicality, confidence, versatility, athleticism, will fight at multiple ranges, silver medalist. I mean, it's a big deal. Neither one really rely on power. But when they get in the ring, it's going to be high-level tactical boxing. But Keyshawn will step to you and try to chop you down. The thing is, Devin moves a lot. So we'll see how it all plays out. Two elite guys in their prime. A lot at stake. Got to be a winner, got to be a loser. I don't know who you got. Now, the heavyweight division has a new look. You know, Usyk dropped them belts, and now you got Dubois, who's the WBO champ, but Usyk picked up a belt and Garcia picked up a belt. You know what I'm saying? So now you're looking, I mean, really, them heavyweight titles are up for grabs because, you know, old heads like, you know, AJ, Fury, and Wilder could find themselves, you know, with titles again. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'll be honest with you, they have realistic paths back to championship opportunities because they're still the bigger names in the division, and they probably could beat most of these guys. But Dubois is a problem. He already beat AJ. Caballel's a problem. But you just never know because experience is going to be back in the conversation because for a long time, the division revolved around one dominant champion. Now it's just kind of a free fall, and all of them have the same targets, which is just becoming a champion. Anyway, let's see who has another run left. I'm not counting out the veterans at all. I think the next generation isn't waiting for these guys. So although the veterans' name generates headlines, younger continue to improve. And every year brings new prospects with speed, size, and confidence. And they're young. So that means established stars, they face pressure. Either, you know, get in there trying to return against a young lion, or you just retire. So that's going to drive constant movement within the division, keeping fans engaged. But it's good for boxing. Gives a little unpredictability. Which some of these fighters don't like, you know, can they adapt, take bigger risks, still absorb punches? Those are questions we got to just sit back and see who can answer them. And that's what keeps the heavyweight boxing, I think, so compelling. Now, Claressa Shields, she's at a crossroads, man. You know, she got to figure out what she wants to be remembered for. You know what I'm saying? Always out here making noise. Built one of the most accomplished resumes in women's boxing, but what you going to be known for? You know, the belts, the boxing, or the drama. You know what I'm saying? Drama sells, but only to a point. What we doing here? You're arguing, you got people out here want to click on conflict, you're talking about your man, talking about sex, talking about fighting. I mean, it's sex, money, murder with her. You know what I mean? She's a GWA with an attitude. You think she's from Compton, Michigan or something, Compton, California, or Compton, Michigan or some shit. Always out here in some controversy, man, and that does increase visibility in the short term, but it doesn't translate into long-term relationships with fans, sponsors, broadcasters, business partners, or anyone at all. It's all bad. It's bad medicine, man. I don't know if she can shift that balance away from the controversy, because I'm telling you what, she needs to, because the audience has already become fatigued and have disengaged. There are still some who are locked in, but most have, you know, I'd say most of them have sailed their ships. You know, legacy is built over years, and she's built a legacy, but she's kind of trashing it at the same time because of the impressions. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to rebuild a public image. I mean, I don't know if you do it by being out there fighting with these Zeus people. I don't know if that's the way to do it, but hey, maybe it will reshape the public perception for the better. I don't know. I don't think so. That's just my opinion. She just got to separate the fighter from the public figure. Build business, develop her personal brand, listen to what Layla Ali told her, bottom line. That may give us some opportunities. But I just think this constant visibility has been all bad. because there's been more disadvantages than advantage created from being the villain. Now, Shadesha Green, she's recovering. She's doing well. She had a serious injury, we know that, but she's progressing, expressing gratitude for all the support has been received, as she's received from the fans. And regardless of rivalries inside the ring, most supporters agree one thing: they want fighters to return home safely. And the sport's demanding enough, and without anyone wishing lasting harm on competitors. And this is why Shadesha Green gets love from everybody, because people know that she's a real fighter. She didn't make any excuses. What happened to her was beyond her control. Some people still trying to figure out when it happened and stuff like that, but the bottom line is it happened. And she's getting better, and she plans on returning to the ring. Now, Hannah Gabriel still wants to fight with Claressa Shields too, and Claressa just doesn't seem to be interested in fighting her. Now, from a competitive standpoint, the fans want it. You know, they want to see an experienced contender pursue meaningful opportunities. They want to see that matchup, you know, but who knows what's going to happen? Because the reality is Claressa does what she wants. But that's the fight right there. That's the fight that generates a lot of interest. You know, Hannah, Chris Cyborg, or Shadesha. Those are the only three. And Shadesha right now, she's got to make sure she's 100%. But those are the fights that generate the most interest. Michaela Mayer's a good fight, but Cyborg and Hannah Gabriel's. That's just my 2 cents. We'll see what Claressa does. Now, Abdullah Mason and Albert Bell, I'm surprised to see people saying Albert Bell's going to beat Abdullah Mason. They're like, yo, you got to look at Albert Bell. Is tall. He's got experience too. He's got discipline. He's got an awkward style. He could disrupt Mason's momentum. You know, he's sound and he's capable. And y'all talking about over 12 rounds. That's the worst thing Mason can do, is get into a 12-round fight with this guy. But Mason can fight, and Mason's talented, and he's special. You know, patient, ring management, adaptability. I just think people shouldn't sleep on Mason, same way they shouldn't sleep on Bell. I just think they both possess these characteristics that are very valuable as they get into these big fights. And I think he's going to end up with a highlight reel knockout. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. But that's what I think. Anyway, I'll tell you this, man. Boxing's always changing. The sport remains compelling. Stars trying to prove they belong. You got all these guys: Opetaia, Benavidez. You got Keyshawn, Devin, Jaron, Xander Zayas. Crawford retired, name in the mix. People want Hannah Gabriel's back. Pat Poof, Pat Brr. His name is mixed up in all this because of his attachment to Claressa Shields. He ain't fighting nobody, but he sure as hell, his name gets mentioned more than these fighters. But I just say business decisions remain intertwined with athletic competition. And let's just hope people keep shit simple and we get the best fights possible. Anyway, I'm looking forward to all these people scrapping. But right now, I got to go run some errands. Y'all keep cool as always. I am in the breeze.